just clear out some stuff here. Working on this environment pack, but for some reason the baking of the light maps is taking forever. Not sure why. So working on that. It's been since Saturday, so now it's been over 48 hours. So, but that's not what this stream is about. Let's see. Let's see. I'm using the new, or not new for me, the stream manager on Twitch. So that's new for me. My chat. I can set a chat. Hi. Let's see what that shows like. Usually I just look at the browser and just, oh yeah, there I go. But I don't think I can hear myself from that, so I always use the browser to test myself. Yeah, so I'm just going to assume I'm being heard because I can't actually hear myself now. But that's okay. All right. So, all right. Did I mess it up? Let's see. Nope. Okay. I pushed a button on my headphone and it made a beep, and I thought maybe I had done something wrong, and I didn't. Okay. Welcome back to Devlog number 2. So in the last Devlog, in the first Devlog, I was working on this scene, and I got a lot refactored. After that, I did a little bit more work, and I realized that a couple things. One, if we go over into Writer, I've moved the stats or skills now into a single class. Actually, not Writer. If I just look at the game data, I'm just going to press play here so we can see game data populated. Once this loads. It's taking its time. So for those, I'm assuming anyone here didn't watch the last one. So what I had before was for every player in their database, they had a star skill, they had a base and a final. And I realized I can actually do this differently. So now each one of these has both the base and the final together. You notice I've got this old proficiency. There's a lot of legacy code relying on that I don't want to change quite yet. So I left that and just marked it as old for myself. And I updated a little bit more things. And I also had this can be trained and can be modified, where might can be modified. Like I've got 11 might points here, and as I go up here, you'll see this go up to 12 and whatnot. And then, but it can't be trained. You can't train might. But if I were to add a skill, let's see if this works. I didn't do everything. Oh, it did work. Okay. So now skill can both be trained and modified. So now it's got novice here because I can train it to be higher, and it's modified because you can modify that via mods, buffs and items and such like that. And I wanted to go a little bit further because in this process, I accidentally, when I changed this structure, this data structure, unfortunately, it also changed some of my scriptable objects, and that kind of messed with things. So if I go to where's my scriptable objects? Here we go. Scriptable objects, if you go to each of the races, all of their data about what they, the different base skills they have, the different values they have, etc., disappeared. Or did they? Oh, the data, these didn't disappear, but rather the values disappeared because I changed the names or something like that. So I needed to redo that, and I realized, oh my gosh, well, it would be a lot easier if I had a custom inspector for this. Now, it's not, I don't plan on adding many races. I guess I will for each enemy type, so maybe I'll have a lot. Who knows? But, in general, custom inspectors and such like that are great ideas for when you're going to do something over and over. So what I realized I was going to do over and over, besides things like adding names, where I can add a new name here, for the default names or the different skin tones or hair colors, is adding these base values and then adding the base value and the base proficiency. Now, what I realized is in all of this is I don't even need to list all the ones. I only need to list the ones that matter. If it's not listed, that means it's 0 and 0, right? Because it's not listed. And then the base skills, where base skills is what these can learn by default at the beginning of the game down here. So you see like the half orc can learn, let me show the half orc, can learn the sword, bodybuilding, perception. Those are right there. And then the knight probably learns shield, chain, and identify item. And so what I realized I needed to do is make one of these, because it's a lot easier then to set up a the data. Now this is my little spreadsheet that I made years ago, saying in Starbucks when thinking about this game. And this is the data I'm going to populate. I'm going to do that a little bit later. There's a lot here, but this top table is what I'm going to populate. This is the base proficiencies for each of the classes and each of the races as well. Races are down here, the classes up here, and you can see all the different. So there's a lot to populate in that table there. Realistically, I could probably do it from a Google Sheet, which would be really neat too. And then it could be easily updated. It might be something I do at some point. I don't think I'm going to do that now because I have to learn a little bit more, but we'll see. But what I wanted to do is I made this for the races, and that's looks really nice. But if I go into the character classes, it's ugly, right? So I wanted to do the same thing for character classes. Now, I can reuse a lot of the code, in fact, most of the code. So I'm going to do that now, and that's what we're going to do in this next devlog, is we're going to make the character classes a custom inspector. And so in Writer here, I'm going to move this to the left. I'm going to make another one like races editor, but I'm going to call it classes editor. So let's just go ahead and do that. We're going to go to the editor folder. All editor scripts have to be in the editor folder, and I'm going to duplicate that, races editor. And we're going to call this character classes editor. And then we're going to load that up. There's going to be some errors because the name on the script is different from the file name, but we'll fix that right up. So character classes editor. And we're going to be character classes. I should spell it right. There we go. Thank you, Writer, for suggesting that. All right, so I'm going to keep all of these. Those are going to be, these are used for the colors on the screen. These are going to be private for when I delete something, just so it doesn't throw a little error. And then we're going to go through and just basically modify all the things that we need to modify to make this inspector work for the character classes. So first thing we're going to do is this one, character class, new char class. I'm going to spell it like this so it matches. All right, and I'm just going to copy and paste here. We'll call this character classes. All right, so actually, let me undo. Writer has this thing that sometimes I forget to use, where you can change, whoops. Very good. Character classes, changes all of them, which is nice. And then change all races to character class. I think that's the, nope, that's not, what is it? Classes, just classes, okay. Change all that, classes, all right. Perfect. Character classes. All right. And what do I get here? Car class. No, I don't want to do that. That would change everything. So I'm just saying car class. And then we've got all these other things. So what we have to copy over is a couple things from the races. Races editor, where is on car race? I need to open up car class and bring that over here. And like car race. Whoops. I need these right here. I'm just going to copy all of these over to the car class right here. All right, I don't know if I'm going to need all of these, but I'm going to keep them just in case. And let's go from there. So now all those turned off, so that's great. Let's just go through line by line, make sure we change everything. So we'll begin horizontal, and can't do anything yet because there's so many errors, but so we can't really see it yet. We're just going to throw errors if we do. So let's see, button car race is on. Turn it on. Okay, name, car race name. That's great because the character class is just a list of the character classes. So we're basically going through all the character classes on this. I have a delete button, delete character class. It's always a good idea, of course, to have a confirmation. Car class name. Whoops. Let's change that. Car class. All right, car class name. Yes, cancel. Delete index. So at the end of this method here, this is going to check if delete's true, then it's going to delete that index. That's what we're doing, saying there. If we delete it here, right here in this part of the method, then the rest would throw an error. So we don't want to do that quite yet. We want to do it at the end of the loop, basically. All right, so if it's on, it's going to display stuff. In fact, what we can load, I think what we can load is the other one, so we can kind of get a visual sense of what it looks like. We're definitely going to get some errors here. All right, so scriptable objects and races. So this is kind of what it's going to look like. I'm just going to, show all of these just so we can scroll up and down and see what they look like if we need to. All right, so show names, hide names. That's fine. Actually, we don't have names. What am I saying? That's not fine. We don't even have names. So let's just get rid of this whole section. We don't even have the colors either. All we really care about now is the values and the base skills. So because of that, we can save a lot of time there. All right, is values on, and since we're trying to be good, I'm going to take away these because we're not using those anymore as well. And we don't need new name or new color because we're not adding either of those. So that's helpful. A little less lines there. All right, get back to this. Character class is on. If we're showing the values, if this is basically toggled, then we're going to be vertical, horizontal. This is all stuff that we need. This actually should just work, which is really nice. So I think I'm just scanning to make sure I don't need to change any other words, and I don't think car class, add new stat or skill, new name. That's fine. We can call this new class name. Just be very specific. It doesn't really matter. Another delete. That's again deleting these. We're going to do the same technique where actually we're doing it right away. So that's fine. We can do those right away, I guess. I don't know. That might throw an error, but we'll test it. I guess maybe it won't. I think I tested it last night. So base skills. Oh, you know, I think these are just gonna work. Base skill. I should actually say base skill name, and that means up here I actually should say not class name, right? Because we're going to say value name. Okay. Those should all work. We don't need add new item. Do we need add new item? I suppose we do. So, well, this is the section down here, new car race, and so what we need to do here is change that to new char class, and then do we not have it? Let's check out car race editor, races editor, and why? Where is the first mention of this? All the way up here. So let's go up there. New character class. Okay, and I lowercase the n, so let me lowercase the n. All right, so I'll just paste these in right here. Add new class. Character classes add new class, and the races one has one that says add new race. So I'm going to copy that into character classes, and we're going to do the same technique here, but add new class, car class, new class, and we'll just copy that down there as well. Add new character class, just a debug down there, and classes. So just add a new class there. That's easy enough. So if new character class, how come this didn't throw that same error down there? So this, we gotta fix this for character class. Oops, yeah. New character class. Did we change it up here? Character class. I see. Character class. I think. What's the difference between the two? Why do I have two? I'm not sure. Character classes use char class, which is this. I think this must be an old thing. Again, I need to add dates to things sometimes. All right, because that's causing a confusion there. It's now fixed. All right, this is fine. Add character class. Okay, that should work. Delete code. Yep. If delete, delete. Otherwise, don't. And let's check it out. I can stop the play right now. All right, it's taking some time, and stop playing. So let's look at character classes and see if it works or throws some weird errors. It seems to work. We got the default inspector being shown. It's always a nice idea sometimes to either give that as an option or just to show it. So it helps for debugging custom inspectors as well. Show values, all right? Show base skills, which is great. Now, these don't have base values and base skills. Or some of them don't have base skills because they're not something you can be at the beginning. You can only be one of these 8. So an archer will have base skills, for instance. There you go. But I do think that there is something we're missing. And that is going to be base class, parent class, disposition, and magic point source. So base class is going to be a Boolean. Is this a base class? So archer and the other 7 down here, druid, mage, etc. And then the parent class, if it's not a base class, it's going to have a parent class, and that's important. So we'll put that out there. It also has a magic point source, which is either going to be personality, wisdom, or both. And then disposition, neutral, good, evil. And if we look back at my little spreadsheet here, you can see I've written that down. The base ones are druid, which are neutral. And then element. I don't think I added element here. I think I decided to drop that that concept. I might bring it back, but it's there. But it's not listed here. So let's expose these into the custom inspector. And that's a little more meaty coding for us to do right now. So let's start with base class and parent class. And we're going to do that by going to let's see. Let me look at Unity again and see what my inspector looks like. All right, so we can put that on top of the values back in Writer. And so that area that we deleted earlier, we will now add something there. Values. So on top of the values, we're going to say base class, etc., and / parent class. Forget etc. All right. So do we indent on everyone? We do indent on everyone for some reason, but we'll keep that going. So we'll indent, and since I don't want to forget, I'm going to add the negative, negative, minus, minus on the indent there. And then we're going to add a toggle. So this is going to be for whether it's a base character. So editor GUI layout dot toggle, and we're going to call this is base class, and this is going to be char class that is base. What do we call it? Just base class, so not base class. And we need to set that, so we're really going to say the base class is equals to this toggle. And then if that is true, or rather if that's not true, because we're only going to show the option for parent class if it's not true, we're going to do parent class. So I think I'm going to change this in a second, but let's do it pretty simply for now. Class.parent class is going to be equal to editor GUI layout. This is going to be a text field for now, and it's going to be parent class, but we don't need a label for it. Well, actually we do. So we'll say parent class, and then as the content, char class dot parent class. And let's just see what that looks like here. Back in Unity, once it loads. All right, is base class is checked. Turn it off. Whoops. Let's go back there. Turn it off, and parent class. So we can actually put these together a little bit on the same row, I think. That might be a little easier. So let's try that. And to do that, we're going to start horizontal. So right here, we're going to say editor GUI layout begin horizontal. And always remember to close it. You'll get some weird bugs if you don't say end horizontal. So always remember we're going to do that there. And it's going to be pretty wide. Let's see how wide it's going to be. I think I can make this more narrow. It's using up a lot of empty space there. I think could be better used. Yeah, that's too small, and we don't need this much space for that toggle. So going back to Writer, for the toggle, we'll say one more GUI layout dot width, and I don't know, maybe 200. Let's just see what that looks like and see what that does. I've had some pretty bad luck with getting these the layout to work properly. It's not quite. Yeah, it does stuff like this where that's supposed to be 200, but somehow now parent class is over because the toggle itself didn't move over. So that is odd. So I think what I can do, though, is back in Writer is toggle left. I think that means that, yeah, the toggle's still left. And so that might be an easier or a better option if it puts the button over here. Let's see. Ah, sure, that's good. So there you go. So now if it's on, parent class goes away. And if it's off, it goes there. And hey, look, my light map looks like it's done. That's exciting. It only took 48 hours or more. So I'm going to do this, but I'm also going to add a similar parameter down here. and I'm just gonna make this like 400. You know, do I need that? I actually don't need that. I just don't like how much empty space there is there, you know. But I'm gonna say if it's we're gonna do one change here. I wanna specify that you know, you can have this is that there's something there. So I'm gonna make a label field and just put as the text. Base classes do not have a parent class. And that's just a reminder to me that there's nothing there because base classes don't have a parent class. And I'll just clean that up a little bit. All right, just bring that out and let's see what this looks like. Did I not save it or something? What's going on? All right. Oh, I've got errors. That's right. Label field. Oh yeah, these I'm not actually setting it to anything. I just need to print the field. So that was that error. One more bug created and smashed. Speaking of smashed, if you've made it this far, if you've watched 27 minutes of this, or you skipped ahead, like and subscribe. That would be helpful. It would definitely help grow the channel and show YouTube that these videos are pretty cool. So there you go. And there we go. It works. So base class is now a parent class. Just a reminder that there's no parent class. Nice. So that part's great. And same here. And it'll keep it if you type something and it'll keep it. So that's helpful too. So now the other thing that we need to look at, of course, is the going back to Writer. We have the magic point source and the disposition. And so let's add those two. Again, I'm going to start these just to get them done as a text field, but I think we're going to move them to a drop down field afterwards. So let's start though with the text field, and we'll make it that first. So, you know, I'm just going to copy this, copy all this, paste it right there. We're going to say magic source and source and disposition. So it's on one row as well. So we're going to say magic point source is going to be a text field. Let's say magic point source, and it's going to be that. And I think I can get rid of the width. And then the other one is going to be another text field. So I'm just going to delete those. We'll copy and paste this one, and then disposition. Lots of copy and pasting, and type in here disposition. And let's see what we got. That part was very easy, wasn't it? Man, why do they have to be so much wasted space? What's the deal with that? Like, does that make any sense at all? It doesn't. Not to me. I doubt it makes sense to you. So let's try if we add this, and we'll just make them 300 and 300. I don't know if this will look good on all screens, but if it looks good on my screen, then it works for me. That's terrible. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. Let me try out one other thing. We'll undo these because that didn't work. And I'm going to take these and duplicate them and duplicate this one. And we're going to make two label fields instead with the title and label field. And get rid of this, get rid of this, and that trailing stuff, and then we can get rid of the label here. And if we do that, then maybe, just maybe, it'll look better. Let's see. No, it looks worse. All right, Unity, you win. 2 lines it is. All right. Undo, 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 undo. Lots of undoing. Undo our mistakes in life, and then take out these begin horizontal, take out this end horizontal. Looks simpler. Is it simpler? And there you go. Still a lot of wasted space. What can you do? So that's there. So this is going to be isBase class. Let's not forget that. And those are all set already. Now I could make these into a drop-down, which might be kind of cool. There's only a few options. There's only 3 options for each. Should I make it a drop-down? Maybe. Maybe for the purposes of this video and just my own coding practice, it would make sense to make it a drop-down. So let's see. And before I go on, I am going to go over to my Discord and tell people that I'm live on Twitch. Where should I put this? I'm on my Discord now. Hey everyone, I'm live on Twitch doing some editor editor coding for custom inspectors for the RPG I'm working on. Come check it out and say hi. And then http://twitch.tv/infinitypbr. And you know what? I'm going to @ everyone because that is cool. Yes, send it to everybody. All right. Maybe somebody come in and say hi. Let's see how long it takes for the first person to come in. All right, so I'm going to make a drop down for this. And I've done this before, but since I have not done it for a while, I'm going to say Unity editor script. Whoops, I can't type sometimes. Drop down menu, and I think it's like pop up or something like that. And yes, something like that. What's the answer? No answer. Man. Let's see, something old, enum drop down, blah blah blah. That's not right. It's old custom menu. Ah, there we go. I knew it was something like that. That's enough, right? Knowing that's something like that. All right, good. So we're going to copy this code. Copy, paste, copy, paste. It's your friend, but it also is your enemy because it means that you don't necessarily remember everything. So what I'm going to do is retype it, public string options. And so we're going to call this dispositions equals new string array of good, neutral, and evil. And we're going to say public string array magic point sources equals new string array. And this is going to be personality, oops, wisdom, and mix. Mix is the term I'm using for the average of the two. And let's see. That should be good. Okay, so I'm going to delete this one that I copied and pasted. That was good of me to not just copy and paste. And then let's see, just a pop-up. So the index, we need to save the index. Okay, so we need an index for each. So I'll do that here. Public int disposition index. No, because this is going to be So this is actually going to have to be on each one of these. So I'm going to need to save this on char class over here as a hide and inspector. So public int disposition index, and we're going to say equals 0, and hide in inspector public int, what is it going to be? The magic point source index equals 0, because this is going to have to be saved for each one. And I'm going to have to do, because I don't want to really have to re-enter all these. So I think what I'm going to do right now is, before I do any of this, I'm going to add a little function here, a little method, a little bit of code to connect what I have right now, which is strings for these, to the indexes. So let me just quickly write that, and we're going to say for each class, all right, for each one, once we'll do it right here, and that's temp, just so I don't forget. Let's see, simple. If car class dot disposition equals good, we're going to say car class dot disposition index equals 0. There might be a smoother way to do this, but I'm going to be deleting this in a second. So I just want to get it done. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Whoa, copy, paste, error. All right, and we'll do the same thing for the magic point sources. Magic point source, rather. Index. And there's going to be personality and wisdom and mix. Now, if I've got no errors, then in theory, this will run and it'll save those values. So what I've typed here won't suddenly disappear when I connect the next bit of code. I think I also hit it in the inspector. So we're going to take a risk that it worked and delete that. And now we can continue on to the next bit, which is going to be changing these. Let's see what the code gives again. Changing these to this pop-up. And so what we're really doing here is, let's see, right, expanding base class right here. Instead of these text fields, we're going to do a disposition. So we'll say car class dot magic point source index is going to be equal to editor GUI layout dot popup and that index and magic point sources. So move that back there, and then we're going to do the same for disposition. Let me just comment out these two lines in case we need to revert for some reason. Disposition index, and we'll say that dispositions. All right, and then the other thing we're going to do is save the values as strings. So that's going to be saying these. So magic point source equals magic point sources and this index. And we're going to do the same for the disposition. This is just going to save it because the game is actually going to look it up by text or need the text for some reason, you know. And so I don't want just a number. Dispositions index. All right, let's see if that works. Cross our fingers. Hi everybody. There's 4 of you visiting. It says 5. I think I'm counted as 1, so there's 4 of you viewing. Hello. I hope you're doing well tonight. Totally worked. Totally worked. Did it work? Let's see. This was wisdom, so archer is going to be wisdom neutral. Let's just try out as personality and good, and then we can go to our archer scriptable object, character classes, archer, and see personality good. So that totally worked. That's exciting. And now going back to our main one for character classes, let me change that back to wisdom and neutral. So now I'm not going to be changing these probably, I showed this earlier in the video, but here's my big log spreadsheet from a long time ago. And I'm not going to change these. There's a lot there. But this, if I do have to change anything, then this will be a lot easier to go. Now, the only other thing I could do is make this into a thing. Oh, the pack. Well, this is actually this is I'm making use of my own pack. This is actually the game I'm working on. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad it's looking good. This is I eat my own dog food, right? So this is The Legend of the Stones, which I'm working on, and I'm using my own thing. So we can press play and kind of see what it looks like. It might be a little broken right now, and that's actually the next thing I wanted to do was fix these values right here. No errors, so that's good. So similar to I did make modifications to the free thing and just add some things, but you can click between the different characters. These are all preset from the colors. So if I go into the races here, you can see I've got an extension for that as well. So the elf has these different names, and third N is just one of the random ones chosen. Different skin tones and hair colors that can be chosen randomly at the start. Different things like that. We've got base values, which I need to repopulate. That was why I did this editor inspector script to begin with, because I accidentally deleted the values and I need to repopulate it, and I want to do it in an easier fashion. And then the base skills, staff, meditation, theft. So if I click over to the skills here, you can see those three here, and you can select those skills. So in this game, Legend of the Stones. Hey, look at that. I've got a bug. We found a bug. For some reason, you're supposed to be able to click these and have it go unselect, but it's not working. So let's see. Sword. Let me clear that. Bodybuilding. So this started because we got clicked. Button got pressed in skill panel 53. Skill panel 53. Huh. Let's figure out if we can. 43. Button got pressed. Learn skills add. So this is where it's supposed to remove. If I've already learned this skill, if it's already highlighted, it should remove it. So that is clearly not working. And let's see what's happening here. Active player, learn skills. Is it not actually going to the learn skills? Let's see. Let's see our data, game data, player 1, learn skills. It is, because I'm adding novice to the name, because officially the skill is called Sword Novice, because you can upgrade those to different things. And these are all the actual scriptable objects for them. And because of that, there's actually a bug in the previous version that I just would have run into at some point, but I didn't, because it didn't get to that point. So when I'm really looking here, the Sword Novice is the name, but where we're looking at the name is not going to be this name. So what we need to do is remove Novice from the skill panel. This is only for the character creation scene, so I can be a little bit more bespoke and boilerplate. So we're just going to say name equals string.replace name. Is it name.replace? Name.replace and novice with nothing. All right. So if we do that, I'm going to have to restart the scene, but if we do that, then it should work. I think. I hope. Unity has been very slow recently. And let's see if it works. All right, skills, sword. Okay, hey, look at that. I selected it 3 times instead. That's even worse. That's a different bug. Well, that's an issue there, isn't it? Okay, I think this is a time for debug logs. Debug.log has learned this skill. And we're going to say name plus remove. And then we're going to say debug.log new name. Because I want to make sure that this is actually removing that value. It should be. And then what we're doing is we're going through the learn skills. And if the skill equals name, which should be just sword now, then we're going to say if remove. Either way, it's going to return true. And if we're removing it, then we're going to remove that. And so let's see. Active player remove at I and active remove stat or skill. We might have a bug here too, so we'll have to think about that. Ultimately, this is a good move because the change I made to this section with the base, none of you know this, but the change I made to the base, to this whole either base stats, I removed the final stats and added the base stats. Oh yeah, look at that, I added sword there too, so I need to fix that. Is better to have one. This is going to be removed. It's not going to be base stats. It's going to be stat or skills. And it's a good change, but it's going to cause some ripple effects like what we're seeing right now. So not the biggest deal, I suppose. I need to restart again because it always loses the connections for some reason. I've not fixed that one yet. Thanks for following, by the way. Brain Safe and Browdy001, who I assume you're a spy. That's very helpful. And let's check this out. All right. Okay, so we unequip skills for some reason. I don't... Why did we unequip skills? Okay, we'll deal with that later. Sword. Has learned sword true. Okay, new name is sword. Well, that's good. Now we have it, right? So we've got sword in our novice and our learned skills. It's added to here and added to here. We'll have to fix that, but it has now. Let's click it again. Let me clear out this. Click it once more. All right, it should have worked, but instead it added it twice. So why didn't it return true? That's an interesting thing. So debug.log checking skill. It's just a string. So, and it should go through. Oh, you know why? Because it's sword novice here too. All right. So did I mess this up even more? I may have actually gone too far and messed it up too much. So really, learned skills is sword novice. Down here, it's sword novice. Everything is sword novice, so I shouldn't change it here. So let me... Oh, duh. My whole debug, I need to add novice. So name plus novice. That's the issue. I was looking at it completely backwards, wasn't I? It's small bugs like this that make the world go round. All right, let's try it once more. 4th, 5th, 6th time the charm. The last time is the charm. Maybe it doesn't have to be the 3rd time. It can be the last time's the charm. All right, let's try it once more. Skills, sword, sword. Aha, there's a bug still, but hey, at least it's disappearing. And this is updating. We have null reference. Unequip starting items. Skill value, starting item. Did I forget to add something somewhere? Skill value, where's skill value? Skill value. Oops. Oh, it's right above it. My gosh. Skill value is get skill value dot name and let's see, get skill value. And it's actually going to be from unable to find sword novice. That's the issue. This is these cascades. After cascade, after cascade. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple things. I've been trying to move a lot of things away from RPGF, which is just way too big, and into the game data. It's a static script, And I think that makes sense because game data is actually where we have in the scene itself. This is where we hold things like skill data objects, and they're all right here. And so I think I may have already moved it. Let's check it out. Skill data object. Get skill data object. I did. So this is what we really want, I believe. So let's just go here and say what we're really doing. Let's just see. Skill data object equals game data dot get skill data object of name, and then skill data object dot starting item. Do I have? No, I don't have that. This is another thing where I think I might have to actually change it. Let's see. Game data dot get skill. Get stat or skill. Or skill. And no. Okay, so that didn't work either. Start item, these are like, hey, an item you start with. If you start with a bow skill, you'd start with a bow, or archery skill, you'd start with a bow. And I wrote this, gosh, almost a year ago. And so I'm trying to figure out why this is happening. I think what I just need to do is going to be just name.replace. I know the issue is probably that novice is here. So let's try that and see if we get this error again. When you equip the sword, or when you choose the sword skill, you're going to equip a sword. It won't be visual here. I haven't set that part up yet, but it would show up in this items drop down, or not the items drop down, in the player items. So data player items somewhere inventory. And so let's see what happens. Okay, no bug, so that's nice. And sword novice, that's nice. Learn skill, sword novice, and inventory didn't happen. So I don't know why it didn't happen. It didn't happen though, so we will see once again if all right, that's going to be something to do later. And so I'm going to put a note here, debug.log warning to do, make sure these are adding items. But hey, no bug, no red bug, no breaking bug, so that's nice. Now I can't remember why I even started this. I think I was showing the script or the component working in this game, and I found the bugs. So they aren't there. They're sort of there, but and while I've got all of you here, earlier I was waiting for this light map to bake, and it was taking all weekend. It's finally baked. I don't think this is right, personally. I don't think it should be 1.13 gigabytes. I don't think it should have taken all weekend, honestly. But I wanted to see if it helps things out. So this is the demo scene for the Medieval Environment Pack that is still yet unreleased, but man, it needs to be released soon. It takes a while to press play, and it's going to be a bit slow because I've got another Unity up and all this other stuff coming up, and it is on the editor, so it's a little slow. The actual build would be a bit faster, and it's also not meant for the lightest weight machines. It could be made lighter. Right now we have all the interiors as part of this. So if you're making a mobile game or something, you could totally use these exteriors, but you'd probably want to go like the old Skyrim route where the interiors aren't in the same scene, because it just save you a ton of resources to not have to have the interiors and all the items that go into the interiors in the main scene. But once this finally plays, look at all these overlapping UVs. I'm not sure what that means because honestly, That's a light map thing. It's from the light map that took all weekend to make. Novelties, thank you for following me 8 minutes ago. That's always super helpful. I'm trying to grow the channel and see what we can do with this and keep me on my toes by streaming. And look, it's frozen or something. What's going on here? All right, let's try this once more. Maximize, press play. It will take a little minute to load. Now, I can't hear my own stream, so you're going to have to tell me if you hear the audio from the pack. I've not tried that yet. And when I press play, there is audio. It doesn't come with the package. They're from the asset store. The trees in the grass are from the asset store. They're from Nature Manufacture. I decided it makes sense to not try to reinvent the wheel there because other people make really good assets. And I don't want to compete with that, nor do I think it makes any sense to. And so I am making what I can make and not making what others can make. But yeah, RPGs. Honestly, I started this Legend of the Stones a year ago. I mean, I really started, working on it. This I made in 16 probably. I was in Starbucks, and yeah, at the time, I was in Starbucks and I couldn't do anything else at the time, so I had to do something. All right, Soul Reaver Chris, the sound should be playing now if you are able to hear it because the pack is up. So this is the Medieval Environment Pack demo scene. You can kind of get a sense of, this is one of my favorite parts. This water wheel is really cool. It's got some scripting involved where these automatically open, and you see the interiors here. So it's pretty dark inside there, but we got everything. Well, maybe not everything. Most things right now can be entered. Oops. And there's a lot of different interiors that you can turn on and off pretty easily in the inspector when you're setting it up. So if you don't want the interior that's there, you can create your own and whatnot. Hey, look, there's a tree poking through that wall. That is a different type of door. And a lot of them, the interiors, you can go up and around. So the light map actually baked well, which is nice. Not sure. This is the fog we're seeing, I suppose. It's not the best. I'm not sure how to fix that, but that's nice, seeing that light come through there. And let's check out some other stuff. Well, see my code style. I'm reading the comments right now. To be honest, I was wanting to see your code style. Yeah, my code style is not bad. I follow other people, so there's definitely better people than me that you should follow. Jason Wyman at Unity 3D College. Look that guy up. His stuff is amazing. I learn a lot from him. So definitely check that out. This isn't right. See that's not right. Something's wrong there. These shouldn't be blue. They're picking up light from the environment. That's not right. So, whoops. Hey, this is just a simple trigger that opens the door. It's nothing fancy. Just you walk into the trigger area and it opens. If you walk out, it closes. So again, that apple is glowing. I don't know why. Maybe it wasn't set to static. In fact, I think it wasn't set to static. So there's that. Lots of cool stuff here. Let's see what this one looks like. They're very dark. I need to add more internal lights now, I guess. Yeah, the food's not set to static because in theory you might pick it up. So it didn't work out with the light map. That's why those are glowing. And what the heck was that? That's weird. All right, there's some artifact going on there. Oh, it's from that. That was weird. Did you see that? Whoa, super plants. I don't know what they're doing. All right, plants. Let's check it out. Let's jump over and see the rest of the... All right, that's an issue too. I do not know what's going on there. This is why the pack's not released yet, because there's still some random things like that. Let's walk over. If you got the bridge here. This is the Ram River Auto Material showcased there, which is another asset. Really cool. I don't know what's going on with that lighting. That's cray cray. Just gonna run through this, see some different things. Lots of buildings. I haven't counted, but there's a lot of, I don't know things are freaking out here. That's weird. That's not normal. A lot of buildings, lots of props, lots of carts. Everything's modular as can be, where you can take this cart apart and make different versions of it. You can see that with the wells, where this well, we've got the roof, we've got the little lantern there, or lantern here. My mouse is moving. The pulley, the bucket, the well itself. This outside edge is actually our sewer edge, just made smaller. And if you saw that bridge over this is actually part of the bridge. I just made it bigger and put it on the bridge, and now it looks like a little entrance way. So that's cool. All the doors over here you can go in. So this is like a little wine cellar or beer cellar or something. And you can leave through the back door. Now you're over here. Whoa, that is annoying, whatever issue that is. So that's, whoa, my gosh. Did you see that? That's frustrating. So that's going to have to be fixed. I don't know what the deal is there. Then we can go up here to these battlements. So it's not really a castle pack. It's supposed to be like a village. And so I want to have some sort of like battlements or some other protection and a high vantage point. So we have these. We've got wood and we have stone. And here's another issue. Apparently there might be a small little hole in the wood. And so that needs to be fixed because those shouldn't have any holes like that. And I don't know why this is so reflective. So there's, again, more small issues that won't need to be fixed. But you've got these battlements. Now, again, these battlements, you can turn off these grates if you don't want the grates there, and stuff like that. You can make them smaller if you wanted to as well, but I want to make them kind of the right height for a person walking to be fully protected. So let's just run around a little bit. So there's a lot going on there. Yeah, these need to be, that's not right. That needs to be fixed with the mesh. So I don't have any scripting on these ladders, but these open up. They can be scripted to open up. And these whole things, somewhere there's a floor one. There's a floor one too, and you can go down. These all have interiors. Let's just jump around. Whoa, I just jumped. Now I'm over here. Oh gosh, that's annoying. Another water wheel. There's another one somewhere around here. There's two water wheels in the little town. They're a little slower moving. So here's another, whoops, where am I? Got stuck. Another interior that we can look into, similar to the other one that we saw earlier. You can kind of walk around, go up, different interior. Look, there's coins. You could steal those maybe. So lots going on here. There's a very big pack, and it's going to be updated as we go along because I think these are the type of things that can always be updated, and then having add-on packs as well. So that's that. One of the things that won't be available, if you want a sneak peek, one of the things that won't be available on launch but will be in an update is facades. And that's the idea that instead of an open village like this where you can walk around, the buildings are standalone, more like a dense city. And in those cases, unless you're doing top down, you don't really need the full building. You only need the facades, the faces that you can see. And so we're going to add some facades, and that would also allow you to create interiors that you could walk into that don't have to necessarily be the same size as the building that you just walked into. Players won't always realize that. And so, yep. So there we go there. So back to the coding stuff. One of the things I definitely want to fix once my computer cooperates. The disorganization, thank you for following me. That's super helpful, as always. One of the things, nope, not this one, on this project, on the game I've been working on slowly for many years. Once it loads, if it loads, it may not load. Let's see, quit this one. quit this Unity, load that Unity, quit one Unity, load another. Let's see. This Unity. All right. In this Unity, one of the things that there's proficiencies for different races and classes, and so that should adjust the stats. Right now, that's not. It was working yesterday, but then I changed stuff, as you know, as one does, and so now it's not working. So this should be more value because a half-orc knight has stats boosts for the might. So what we are dealing with here is our base stat and skills for might will be currently serving the points, but what we need to do is add here. I know I haven't done conditions or equipment yet, so I was easily able to find where to go here. And this is going to be on the player, final value, and proficiency. So this should compute the final value and proficiency for any given stat or skill, in this case might, based on points and the other values attached to the character. In this case, race and class. And that's where we are clearly not, it's not updating properly. So, might prof. And let's see, might prof. That's proficiency is 0 and 0. That's just a lie. Actually, no, it's not a lie. Ooh, there we go. Full circle. That's why I started the inspector scripts, because it's not a lie. That's where I was. Why is that 0? I added those last night, and everything's making sense. I went to sleep, went to work, and I forgot everything I did yesterday. I'm sure it happens to you too. And so on my scriptable objects in my character classes, we'll start with races as a smaller list. We have lost all of our values, base values and proficiencies. So this is the actual list of proficiencies, and honestly, this should now be a Google Sheet. Being a smart person, realistically, I should just make this all a Google Sheet, right? And then have a method of loading. There's assets on the asset store, and you know I'm a fan of assets on the asset store. So I should have a method of just bringing in a Google Sheet, but I don't. And so I created this inspector script literally to make it easier for myself to type stuff in here. So for the human, if I see human down here, the proficiency is nothing. So one of the things I want to make sure I do, I did this wrong when I set this up, and I needed one item for each one. I'm going to make it so that if I don't have something here, it's because there's no change. Lack of something means 0. So the first proficiency is really for plate armor for the human. So I'm just going to delete all of these. They have no weapon proficiency, no weapon proficiencies. The humans are equally proficient in all the weapons, but in plate armor, they have a little 10% boost in proficiency, as well as Arms Master and Spell Master. So let's just copy that, paste and paste. And then human, no other proficiencies, nothing else. So let's just delete the rest. That will make this list a lot smaller. What did I just do? I didn't build undo into it. Ha 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 ha, joke's on me. Did I undo? Yes, I need to add in hit points per stat, hit points per level, magic points per stat and level. But hey, at least this inspector script is easy. All right, re-add that in because that should be somewhere on this. Aha, it is. It's right here. So I'll add those in as I go. Humans hit points base is going to be base value, not proficiency. It's going to be 25 magic points base if they can use magic is 20. And then we'll be at hit points per stat, hit points per level is 0 and 2. And then magic points is 0 and 1. Perfect. All right, so now that is there. These are set. Now I've got to do this for all of them. This part's boring. I'm going to lose some of you guys at this one because I have to do this for the elf now. And then I've got to do it for all of these bad boys up here. So I'm definitely going to lose you guys. And I think because I'm going to lose everybody, I'm going to call this stream a stream. Really? Should I keep going? You really want me? I can keep going. I've got to do it anyways. All right, yeah. Well, I can't import a CSV. That's the thing. I was thinking earlier, should I just do it? But man, I tell myself now, nah, I just need to do it. And I say, but what if I mess up again and delete it all accidentally? It's happened once at least. All right, elf. Elf is this row. So we have proficiencies in all the magic. Elves get a boost in all magic. Do they get a boost in light and dark magic? They do. But for that, they actually get a reduction in a few of these. In dagger, mace, they can use staves and they can use bows just fine, but the others, they are hurt on. They can use, whoops, not 1.1. They can use that, and for these, if it's 0, I'm just going to delete it because I don't need those. For the armor, they get a boost in leather, but not the others. And then for skills, they have a boost in meditation, 0.1, and in theft, 0.1, and then you can tell I actually did this wrong. This is actually going to be negative 0.2 for that instead of 0.8 for those two, and then wisdom is going to be just 0.2 because 1's added to all of these are mods, not the actual values. And accuracy, they're quite accurate. Elves are, didn't you know? All right, and then these zeros I'm going to delete. I think deleting these is actually going to throw a bug somewhere, but I need to redo a lot of the code anyways. Whoa, did I just delete something I wasn't supposed to delete? No, but I almost did. Or did I? Hit point per stat. All right. I don't think I deleted anything wrong. Okay. Accuracy. It's the last thing on this list. Okay, and then down here, base hit points is 15 and 30. Hit points per stat, hit points per level is, they get no hit points per stat and level, but they get a lot of magic points per level. That's interesting for them. I wonder if I did that on purpose. I probably did because 3, they all add up to 3. And the half orc, it's all hit points. So that kind of makes sense. So that means that this can be X'd out because if it's 0, if it's not there, then that means it's 0. I probably shouldn't have done that. Yeah. Hit points per stat. And I say that because these are going to be computed differently than the rest. So I think it's probably best to keep them here and not have to worry about that. All right, half orc time. Show values. Let's do this while we're down here. Half orc is 40 and 5, so they have some magic, but not much. And then hit points per stat, 0. Hit points per level is 3 and 0, 0. Okay. Then back up to your half orc. So we get a reduction by 20% in all magic for the half orc. So base proficiency is negative 0.2 for all of these, but they do have a increase in some weapons by 0.1 for this all weapons, maybe. Yeah, all weapons. They like to use their weapons, I suppose. And for armor, they are get a bonus in shield, 10%. And then skills, they have a 10% boost in bodybuilding and perception. The others I can delete. Okay, and theft, identify item. Okay, then we have boosts here for might, 0.2, 0.2 for stamina, and negative 0.2 for both of these. And then I can delete these. Right? All right. And then last one of the classes, or races rather. I don't actually have a dwarf yet in this game, so I'm going to ignore this for now and do it later if I get a dwarf, which I think I will, because we're working on something with the Real Illusion character creator, and I think they can make dwarfs there. And all my wardrobe will work with the character creator in theory, so hopefully that'll work out, and then I'll get a dwarf. And then all of you guys can have dwarfs too, if you use Real Illusion character creator, that is. The other thing, before we do the actual coding, I do want to do it for the 8 starting classes, because otherwise it'll throw errors, or it could throw errors. So what I'll do is actually just do one. I'm going to do the knight for now, and we'll do the rest offline, because I want to get to the coding part before I also have to go to bed at some point. So show values. Again, let's look for the knight in my list, regular knight. All right, so again, I did these values wrong. All right, so the knight has no change for anything until 1% means no change. They've got no change, no change, no change, no change, all the way till meditation. Knights can't meditate. And then that's negative 0.5 for proficiency. All right, so let me just delete, 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 delete. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Did I? Somewhere I think I'm going to have a bit for whether they can learn it or not. And I think I had that. All right. Meditation, negative 0.5. It's a big hit to meditation, these knights. 1%, 1%, 1%, all the way to identify item. And then might is going to be 0.2, not 0.3, 0.2. And personality is negative 0.1. The rest are 0. Right? Yep. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And then these also, though, have hit point stuff. Knight right here has no hit points or magic points base, but hit points per stat is going to be 4. And hit points per level is 4. Magic points 1 each. So you get your base from your race, and you get your level stuff mostly from your class, but also a little bit from your level, from your race rather, but mostly from your class in this game. All right, so that should be enough for us to do coding and make this math work. So let's just see if I get any errors thrown. I think I might get an error thrown because I deleted these values. So I need to check that out. Let's find out. No errors. Look at that. But it also didn't work. So let's see. I've got those extra debug. Right? How come it didn't work? Let's do it once more. Because I have these lines for debugging. If the stat or skill is might, stat level, if the stat is might, right here. Okay, there we go. Might proficiency 0. All right. So let's see. The final value, okay, final proficiency. That's what we're looking for. I'm going to separate these out. All right, so the final proficiency starts with a base proficiency, which is going to be 0 for everybody. And then it's going to add the game data, get race, get proficiency, stat or skill name. All right, so let's see. Can't I click? I should be able to click this. Hey, get race, races. All right, maybe it's car race. Car race. Get proficiency. This is where it is. Ah, see, we return old proficiency, but we're not supposed to return that. We're now returning proficiency, base proficiency, right? Let me just stat or skill. Final stat, no, final proficiency, right? Or base proficiency. Let's double check. Let's gotta load that. Whenever I make a custom inspector, I like to always give, hey, thanks, Novelties. I like to always give the option or just show the base there. So what we're looking for is, if I go to my races and look for half orc, each one of these is a stat or skill, and I put the base proficiency. That's what I'm looking for, the base proficiency. These can't be trained, so well, they could be. Well, in this context, there's no need for the final proficiency. But I suppose, do I need to compute this before? I suppose this is going to give the final proficiency, not the base proficiency. So stat or skill, when I say get get proficiency, what I'm really looking for is the final proficiency. So and I'm going to put in an optional here, a bool, compute final proficiency equals false. So it's not going to do it by default, but if, whoops, I can't type, if we are, then I'm going to quickly compute that. And to do that, I think I do it with a method here. Let's see, compute final stats for the player. Yep. So we're going to say, actually, for each stat or skill, if compute final proficiency, stat or skill, final stats, and this is going to be the player. So who are we passing along? Oops. Get proficiency. That means I also have to add in a player equals null option there. So if you pass in one, you have to pass in the other. And we're going to pass in player. And that's all we really need, right? Yeah. And then if we're not doing that by default, then it doesn't matter. We'll just pass by the... let me delete this. Turns out I didn't need that debug there. Where were we earlier? Car race, I believe. Wherever it... No, we're on that now. Where were we? We were on this. We were on this one, and all right. Right here, final, get proficiency, stat or skill name, and it should return back the final. All right, so that should work. And while we have the hood open and remembering what we're doing, I need to add player to these. I'm gonna do the same here, and get final value. I'm going to copy this and redo what I just did because I might have a need to get points, so get points. And this isn't going to matter in this context, and it's just going to be returning the points. And again, if it's not there, like if we went through all our stats and skills and we didn't find, let's see, values. Oh, wait. Yeah. I get so confused sometimes. Okay, values. If we go through them, we don't find one, then it's just going to return 0. That's the whole reason why we were able to delete those from earlier. And all right, that should work. So now we'll get points. I don't use it now, but I think I'm going to in the future, so I might as well just do that now. Same deal here. If we have that, okay, return final value instead of final proficiency. Final stat is actually these two combined, but we don't use that in this context. Or do we? Do we? I may have. Let's find out. Let's see what happens first. My brain just suddenly realized the contrast. You know, I've actually tried. It's orange, I know, right? I think some of it is to do with this tool I use to change the tone of the screen at night, Flux. But let's see if I disable it for an hour. It's disabled here on the Unity, but it wasn't on Rider. So now, I can't do it. I'll have to research it more. I'm using Ecamm Live, and I'm not. Problem is I don't see the change on. Oh, you know what it is actually? It's the iMac itself, I bet. It's the iMac because it's got the True Tone display, and I think that is what's causing it. So I'll have to research that. So I can't do it right now, but I'll have to look into that. I think it's the True Tone display on the iMac. That's likely the cause of that. I've been wondering about that, so thanks for making me think about for more than 5 seconds. All right, let's restart this and see if it works. It doesn't, I can tell you that much right now. Okay, let's look for might proficiency, still 0. All right, what's the dealio? Let's rethink this. So this is supposed to be calling final value and proficiency for any given stat or skill. And to do that, it's going through the stat or skill and getting the final value. Let me just see. This is on player, right? And then if we dig down 127, it's going to be compute final stats. Oh, so I totally didn't need to do all of this that I did over here. So let me just undo, or I'll leave it for now. But I think all of this I didn't actually need to do, because that, yeah, that didn't need to happen at all. All right. So we're on player. See, it's getting late and I'm getting tired. We're on player, and I have deleted, where are we? Player 127. What we're really doing is computing final stats. If we go back a little bit more, character creation stat 47. Character creation stat, let me find that script. Character creation stat, line 47. Active player compute final stats. And that is going to be displayed here. And see, I did write a note for myself. What, yesterday? Yesterday. Moving this competition to the player class. Nice. It just doesn't work. Compute player. Okay. Compute final stats on the player. For each of the stat or skills, if it can be modified. So let's just look at the data object. So we're on the same page. For each one of these, right? I'm going to change this name to something different soon. For each one of these, if the name equals, wait, compute final stats. For each one in base stats, if it can be modified, which can be modified. If it can't be modified, so if it's not can be modified, then we continue. But if we can, then the stat or skill final values should equal, and final proficiency should equal final value and proficiency stat or skill. And that's where we call in here, it's a tuple, right? I think that's the name, float and float. And we are going through all of these and adding the stuff. And this is where we need to add in what should be pretty simple, get proficiency on the race, car race, get proficiency, should return just final proficiency. Okay, so I went down a rabbit hole there, didn't I? Totally went down a rabbit hole. Made one update that made sense, and that's moving this get points out there. And a couple of these. Yeah, so this is base proficiency after all. And base values, base value after all. And now that I think about it, this isn't needed at all. Okay, so that was definitely a rabbit hole. And it should return the base proficiency and that. And if we look at our characters, scriptable objects, races, we'll say half orc. Might, base proficiency is 0.2. So that's what we're looking for. Let's just sanity check this out and see if it now just magically works. Yeah, it magically works. Look at that. So now instead of whatever value it was, 11, it's now 13.2, so 2.2 higher. Is that right? It's going up for everyone. It's going up 1.2. It should be going up higher because it's knight. So let's see, because might is knight, and then half orc. And if we look at character classes and knight, not dark knight, regular old knight, values, might is also 0.2. So let's just check our code real quick and make sure that in our player class we are doing the same thing. Oh yeah, because I did make some update, didn't I, in car race, and I need to do a similar thing in car class. Yep, so base proficiency and base value. And that should do the trick. Let's double check. Ah, there you go. So 15.4. So now every time you add 1, it goes up 1.4 instead of 1.2. And then if you change it to a barbarian, it would change these values as well, although it looks like I've got to fix one more bug that I did this yesterday, but where I changed one of these, that it recomputes these. I've got to redo that. But for now, I'm going to call this a stream, and I'll put this on YouTube probably tomorrow because it's probably going to take a while to load. Thank you for watching, those who did. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. If you're watching on YouTube later, please like and subscribe there as well. We are trying to build that channel and get to the point where YouTube pays more attention to us, and to do so we need another 200 or so subscribers and another 2,000 or so watch hours. So thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing, and thank you for support of our work. We very much appreciate it. Have a great night, everybody.